Alright guys, China Komaki here. Welcome to another episode. Well, it's an awesome, sunshine, warm, spectacular Swedish holiday. I'm pretty enjoyed the weather nowadays in the summertime. Yeah, so today there's another topic that I want to bring up to you, which is a Chinese girl went overseas in Paris and cried about her overseas life or study life in Paris. Let's check out the video first.
差别太大了，我好想成都，我想回成都，我想一辈子待到成都，不想到别的地方去了。我也是吧，我也是要出来读书啊。快乐都是假的，我只想在成都快乐，只有在成都的快乐才是真实的快乐。在成都睡不好有夜宵，在巴黎睡不着，都没得吃的，只有过得去。那里晚上吃了流氓啥子都没得在路上，一起快点好吧，已经好了，我想回去，我想回去放个暑假，我想陪爸爸，我想吃下成都的福。
Alright, so it's pretty funny when you check out those kind of video, when you look at that girl and she was cried about her, difficulties life in Paris, which is totally actually understandable from my point of view. And I don't really want to blame that girl because she is naive. She is just grow up and she went overseas from China. Actually, it's quite understandable when I first time when I step out of the country border to the other countries, I felt a similar situation. But I was a grown-up man. But that's another thing to talk about. The thing that I'm going to talk about is why this video or this news promoted by the majority of the main medias in China. It is because of all the talking points and the ideas or the message that girl delivered in that video, which is totally fit the narrative the Chinese government or the mainstream media want to portray it to the majority of the Chinese. So if you look at those main talking points, I can read some of the comments for you guys. This one says, yeah, I was thinking about migration or immigrate to the other countries, but I was asking the opinion from my son. My son said, why would I go to another country? All my connections, friends and families are here in China. And here you got the spectacular, awesome food and sceneries. Why would you want to go to another country? And another point is, China is the safest country in this planet. China grows so quick, and the economical environment here, sorry. The economical environment here in China is way better than the other places on this planet. And another talking point is, the geopolitical situations in the other places is not very good for investment. So why would I leave the country? Okay, so this is very typical comment. And check out this comment, which is also very typical. Why would all the parents, a lot of parents in China, 崇洋媚外. 崇洋媚外 means, praising the Western world or, worshipping the Western ideologies, so and so. It's a negative word nowadays in China, means you don't like China, but you love the Western world. It's always this kind of mentality and ideology. It's us and them. And if you are not on our side, then if you are not on our side, then you are the enemy of us. See what I mean? It's black and white. It's you and me. It's us and them. So it's always like a versus, we versus them. They want to attack us. Some kind of things like that. See, this post continuously talking about a lot of parents spend a lot of money send their children to the overseas, but they don't really know if the kids want to go to overseas or not. Yes, it's totally true. Actually, your kids is not in that status or not that prepared to go to another country to study. It's better to leave them in China, because kind of like you can avoid a lot of issues. But from another point of view, if you want your kids to grow up to be an awesome humanity, understand the whole world, and he is not trapped with the narratives and the information bubble, as a parent, you have to educate your children in a proper way. Then your children will not be brainwashed in the mainland China, and your children probably can understand the world in another way, rather than one-sided opinion, and China is so great, the other part of this planet is totally rubbish, especially USA. This kind of moronic ideas. Well, and the other people talk about if you will not able to earn a lot of money, why would you send your children to overseas? This is another typical Chinese idea, because in the early of the days, back to the 80s or the 90s, if you are a Haigui, right, returned from the overseas, you are seemed to be, knowledgeable, or you have the base knowledge, or people perceive you can get some, advanced knowledges or skills or ideas, whatever it is, can bring it back to the country to build the country. But now, the Haigui, right? The Haigui, Chinese people use a lot of Haigui. Literally, it means like turtle, but it's just a twisted pronunciation of the returning guys from the overseas, in terms of they studied overseas, but later they come back to the country. So this Haigui thing is now actually demolished, because you got a lot of incapable returning overseas students back to the country. Actually, they studied nothing, or in the Western countries. Then they are the loser of life. Then finally they decided to come back to China, or go back to China, because of their incapability. That gave them sort of like bad name. I'm also a Haigui, but I'm not returning. But it's the idea is all ties up to the money. So the purpose to study overseas is to get a degree. Then later on, you can find a better job and earn more money, which isn't wrong. Maybe is the mainstream idea nowadays in China. It's all money oriented. Everything is about money. If you don't have money, then you are fucked up. Of course, money is very important in this life. Without money, you cannot do anything. Without money, you almost cannot survive. But people has to understand, money is a consequence or the result that to show all the efforts that you spend in this life. And if you work so hard, if you put a lot of energy to achieve something, eventually money will come. In the other hand, if you only chase the money, money will never come along. This is very simple. But in China, you don't have these inspirations nowadays in the schools. So it's better to send the young kids to study overseas as early as possible if the parents also have the abilities to survive in another country, because it's pretty problematic if you send a young kid, to the overseas countries, to the Western society, but the parents cannot do parenting along with them, and you leave those kids, grow up in the Western society freely. Maybe they were trapped into some psychological problems because the environment or the knowledge that they gain in mainland China is totally different as the other places. You don't all get these, moronic, stupid comments. You also got some Chinese people, inspired or worked up, put some, disagreement with the majority of the comments. And look at this guy. This guy said, "Yeah, I went to Paris. A beautiful country. It's awesome. Just to travel around Paris." And a lot of beautiful girls. And if you do speak English, look, this is the key point. If you do speak English, not the majority of the Chinese can speak proper, English to make a successful communication. So this guy obviously, understand this planet, understand this world, and understand the Western society. So yeah, you got a chance to talk to the Paris beautiful girls, and you can make friends with them. And Paris is kind of a little bit better than London. I'm not really sure for this statement, but this guy said, I really enjoyed to travel around Europe. Okay, so you got a disagreement, but when you check out the reply of this disagreement, it's all about how dare you speaking in that way, and why would you still stay in China, fuck off the country, and all these attack the different opinions which is not aligned with the narratives. So this is the main thing that nowadays you can see, especially the recent 5 years or 6 years. It's turned a lot, because if you make some kind of disagreement back in 2000s or 2008 during the Beijing Olympic times, it's totally fine. You will get a lot of supports, and people love to hear the ideas come from another angle in China. Although nationalists are always there, those ultra nationalists are always there, but their voice is not. Was not that overwhelmingly dominated in the social media. But nowadays, it doesn't matter which kind of ideas that you disagree. You have got this huge chunk of, you cannot call them like Wu-Maos, right? They are the self-motivated pinkies, always try to, disagree with the ideas, not align with the mainstream narrative. Why? Because, in reality, actually, those guys, I checked a lot of them, on the Chinese social media. You can literally click their username and you got their biography or the things that they post or the pictures. So majority of them are not living in a good status. When I say this, it's quite, it's kind of like, generalize the thing, but it's actually true. I saw people were complaining about the lockdown in Shanghai. I saw people were complaining about losing jobs, unemployment in their life. Some of them posting their living condition. They can only afford, instant noodles as their daily food sources. A lot of these kind of guys, as Dee talk about the information bubble back in China, it's very true. If you if you disagree with this idea, China is the best on this planet, those people got offended. Why? Because China great, China is the best, is the idea for those guys to survive. Because if you want to destroy their dream that China would become the top country over this planet, then their life would be changed or something like this. You will understand what their angers comes from, and what kind of frustrations come from. It comes from a expectations or their outlook of life is destroyed. The funny thing is, I saw Eileen Gu is now in Paris, and she is enjoyed her life in Paris. Sitting in a fancy French restaurant, drinking coffee, watching Eiffel Tower, just wondering the most beautiful place in Paris, and just to show off herself and her fantastic life, which is a total irony. That you think about this world. Eileen Gu is the China hero, or I can put it in this way, an American hero acted in China as a Chinese for this pathetic loser, little pinky, Wu Mao, and their loser life back in China. It enhanced the narratives that the government want to feed or manipulate the main perceptions of the people in the country. And Eileen Gu is portrayed as a public idol for every Chinese to love with. But now, when a Chinese girl crying about her pathetic life or her difficult life in Paris, Eileen Gu is enjoyed her luxury life in Paris. See the contradictory and the sloppy, ideology that the Chinese government try to feed the majority of their audience, and to make them believe all these kind of rhetorics. To wrap up this video, I went to Paris for several times in lifetime. I would never say Paris is a paradise for human being, and you see good and bad side in that city. It's a mega city. You got a lot of people over there. It's crowded. You got pocket pickers in the main sightseeing places, or scammers trying to scam some of the little money. You got people try to tie up little loops on your finger, and try to just get a couple of bucks for surviving. Actually, I saw life isn't easy in the mega cities in Europe, in Paris, and I saw a lot of immigrants just to set up their, I don't know how to call it, their little marketplace under the Eiffel Tower, try to sell souvenirs to earn a little bit of money. Life isn't easy over there, but is the life totally fucked up over there? I don't think so. I got positive experience in Paris as well during the COVID time. I talked about that before. I got free treatment, which I didn't expect it. I thought I should, at least pay some of the money. I don't want to explore the local, medical system that I like stealing money from the people who really need. But I got free treatment, which I really appreciated. I spent a lot of money in Paris to boom the local economy as a payback. To show my appreciation, right? So, yeah, in the end, I would like to say the China nowadays, it's really an information bubble. The firewall blocks all the disagreement or different information out of China, and also through the language barriers, the majority of the Chinese cannot understand what is going on this planet. And it's like I talked a lot of times, it's like a Truman's show, right? You try to trap a lot of population in that place, but you still got nice Chinese who really understand the situation. You got awakening Chinese who really understand the situation, who are not really enjoyed the brutal lockdown or, you know, the information control and the censorship and the firewall blocks or the, you know, social medias outside of the world. They want to make a living outside, but their voice are never heard. So it's kind of pathetic and tragic, but this is the era that we are now experiencing. Yes, I'm always positive and looking forward to see how things would change in the future, because it cannot last forever, right? Maybe I'm not able to see it through my lifetime, but in the end of the day, human beings are going to be relieved, and human beings are going to be set free from this, you know, psychopathic controlling system in all of the country, not only in China. China is just an incubation center for those, you know, sick people try to demonstrate or try to do social experiments to almost, you know, 1/6 of the population on this planet. But in the end of the day, all of us are going to be free, physically and consciously. Yeah, thanks for watching. China Uncle Mikey. See you next time.